What's up, everybody? It's me, Jesse. I'm sick today, so I look like shit, feel like shit, but I did not want a Monday to pass without you guys getting a video. The topic today, I think basically any person who's making stuff will find this advice useful, and that is you've got to finish stuff. I think that there are two parts to the creative phase. There is the part that you do for yourself, and then there's the part that you do for other people. The part you do for yourself is very, very important. That, for me, is the first draft of writing something. That's the design of a game. It's the kind of coming up with the general concepts, the creating the world. And then there's the part that you do for other people. That's where you're getting the thing that you're making into a place where it's ready to be seen by other people. It involves a lot of things which are fixing small things that probably most people aren't going to notice, but those little things kind of all add up to the big thing. For me, with writing, that's doing maybe my second or third draft when the script has problems, but they're not like the solutions to them don't involve getting to come up with big, fun, creative ideas. It's just about rearranging lines of dialogue or fixing small problems. A lot of people get stuck in that first phase when they're doing something just for themselves. And again, I think it's really important that the majority of what you do is in that phase, because to make stuff in the long term as kind of a career or as a lifelong hobby, you really do have to love what you're doing. It has to be a fun thing. But I think that a lot of people have a difficult time powering through that part once the project kind of loses that luster, or that it loses the spark of improvisation that it had in the beginning. And then they don't finish and they don't put anything out and nobody knows that they made this thing. One of the biggest differences between those people who are very, very successful and those who aren't is that those successful people, they just finish stuff. Doing this has a lot of benefits, and they're not all obvious. One, of course, is that people get to see it. Something that is done is better than something that is perfect, because you can't read a half-written book. I mean, you could, but you know what I mean. Something that's not so obvious, however, is that finishing stuff and putting it out is actually how you get better. I think that a lot of times we get hung up because we think this is not as good as I know I'm capable of, or I want it to be, or whatever. The thing is, you think you can make something perfect, and first off, you just can't. You're always going to fall short. The other thing, though, is that you are just going to be at whatever level of skill with your craft that you are. You can't really improve your craft without just putting in a bunch of time. And so while you may think, well, what I'll do is I'll just make a bunch of stuff in private and I'll get better and better and better, and then when I'm finally great, I'll release it to the world and everyone will see. Well, the thing is, the releasing it to the world is a part of that loop of getting better, because you really have no idea what your thing is until you let other people experience it. I had this with the Static Speaks My Name. I thought it was so stupid. I thought it was just so generic and pointless and mundane, and I was just like, what is this thing? This doesn't even make sense. This isn't a game. This isn't anything. It's just like a 10-minute waste of time. It wasn't until I put it online that, and people started reacting to it, that I realized, oh, there actually was something cool there. And that feedback taught me so much about what I was good at and what I wasn't good at. Because a lot of times people don't realize what they're actually good at. People take for granted what are their strengths, because that's just something that comes naturally to them. And so they just assume, well, everyone can do that, so this thing I'm doing is not that special. Maybe this other thing I'm doing is more interesting and special. So yeah, you gotta finish stuff because it'll make you better. And if you're making something interesting and worthwhile, people deserve to see it. If you've got a unique voice and a perspective, there's just not enough of those. Unique voices are sometimes the quickest to silence themselves. Maybe it's because they have such a unique kind of perspective, and so they just never figure out how to articulate it fully. But man, I would take a 75% well-executed unique voice over a 100% well-executed generic voice any day. So yeah. I'm even sicker today, so I look worse, feel worse, but I wanted to record a little postscript for you guys. This is that raw, real behind the scenes. You see me at my least glamorous, how I really am. I wanted to share this for any of you guys who maybe are working on something and you don't think it's good enough to show other people. You're afraid people are going to think you're bad and it's going to ruin people's perception of you or your career. I want to show you a little bit of Quentin Tarantino's first movie, the one that you've never seen. It's called My Best Friend's Birthday, and he made it before he made Reservoir Dogs.
What the hell are you doing here?
Hi, Mickey.
You back?
Yeah.
You're back.
I'm here, aren't I?
I'm glad. How long has it been?
Since what?
Since the last time we've seen each other.
Well, let's see. January, February, 2 months.
Seems a hell of a lot longer to me. Oh, by the way, you know those phone calls you were getting last month? They'd ring and you'd answer and they'd hang up?
Uh-huh.
Well, that was me. I just had to hear the sound of your voice. So what's it been like for you?
Well, I've been...
So yeah, not very impressive, right? If Quentin Tarantino can make bad stuff, so can you. All right, I'm glad I didn't cough too much or sneeze or throw up on camera. I hope that that was useful to some of you. If any of you are midway through a project, don't start something new. Finish what you're working on. Put it out. Let people see it. Trust me, it's way better that way. Peace.